Well, hello, folks. I am here with Brady VanWinkle, and we are going to talk turkey here in a minute and make a podcast. Going to give you a second to see if we pick up any followers, and we'll try to answer your questions, and Brady can answer your questions about turkey. If you see anybody out there and they want to get on and be with us on Facebook Live. Won't you greet everybody there, Brady?
Hello, hope everyone's doing well today. Brady VanWinkle, church planter to the country of Turkey. Excited to talk about Turkey today. There is a great need there in Turkey, and excited to let people know about the need there, but also the openness for the gospel to go forward in the country of Turkey.
All right. Evidently, we did pick up somebody. Looks like Miguel Sanabria said hi to you.
There we go.
And so, let's see here. If we got 8 viewers there. All right, we'll give it just another minute before we start making the podcast, because I've been kind of slacking on the podcast. And hello, Wayne Cook. Hope you're feeling better. And Les Smaltz, do you know him? Says hello, Turkey.
I'm not sure.
Ana Vilches, hey, hermana, ¿qué tal? And Brendan Wong and hermano Huaco. Okay, well, I'm fixing to go ahead and turn on the podcast, and we're going to get kind of serious about what we're doing here. If you have any questions for Brady or about what's going on in Turkey, be sure and mention those now and just start talking to him. So here we go with the podcast. Well, I'd like to welcome you to World Evangelism Podcast, Leadership with Vision. Forgot its name, hadn't done it in so long, but so glad that we're trying to get back to doing this. I am joined today by Brady VanWinkle. Brady is a missionary church planter to the country of Turkey, and we're going to talk Turkey today. And so if you're watching and you could share this with people, we'd really appreciate it. So we're just going to kind of go through a little bit here, let you meet Brady and get to know a little bit about him. Feel free to type right there in the comment section anything you'd like to know, and we will go. We'll have Brady answer that. So Brady, we'll answer that question as it came through there, and then I'm going to start asking you questions. And so it says here, how close is Brady to getting to Turkey, and how can people contact you or follow your ministry?
Great question, Brendan. We're right at about 28% of our support, so we're praying that by next summer, we're trying July, August to get our support raised to get to Turkey. You can find us all over social media. If you look up Truth to Turkey, you'll find that all over the place. That's our ministry, but you can actually go to our website, truthtoturkey.com, or you can even send me an email at brady@truthtoturkey.com as well, and would love to hear from you, or if you have any questions or concerns, or would love to pray for our ministry, we would love for you guys to follow us on social media at Truth to Turkey, or also send us an email.
And his name is listed in this posting here, so you can follow him there. And then Les Smaltz says, I was discipled by Pastor John Wilkerson, California, from First Baptist Church, if you remember him. Brother, I definitely do remember John Wilkerson, love him, sweet gentleman, one of the kindest, best men of God I've ever known in my life. And so, praise the Lord, brother. That's exciting, and glad to get to talk to you. So, well, we've got a little bit of time here, so I want to ask you, Brady, tell us first how you got saved and how the Lord saved you.
Well, I was 8 years old, and I had gotten in some trouble at school and had made a profession of faith earlier in life. Had said a prayer, didn't really know what I was doing, just following all the steps, and was 8 years old, and God began to work in my heart. I'd been in church my whole life, so I knew the gospel. I knew about heaven, I knew about hell, and I realized that I was not saved, that I needed Jesus Christ. And so I went to my mom, and she took me to my dad. And after church, when I was 8 years old, my dad took me through the plan of salvation, showed me that it wasn't a prayer, it wasn't anything I did that saved me, but it was by putting my faith and trust in what Jesus Christ did on the cross for my sins, and that he rose again the third day, and got saved that day, and my life was changed since then.
All right. Well, tell us how you felt called by the Lord to go into missions and then to Turkey.
All right. Well, when I was 13 years old, before then, when I started going to a church when I was in 5th grade that had a missionary, Dr. Ben Kendrick was a missionary in Africa, and he took interest in me, gave me some missions books, and so that started my journey towards interest in missions.
Well, we could stop right there. Every one of you missionaries that are on deputation or veterans. You heard that. That was a good point. How'd you get interested?
Former missionary.
All right, go ahead.
He took interest in me, and through that I enjoyed missionaries coming to our church and would talk to them. But when I was 13 years old, I was at church camp, and while at church camp we had a split session. And I was in the split session. It had nothing to do with missions whatsoever. But God had been working on my heart before about the interest in missions. And that day God said, I want you to preach and I want you to be a missionary. And I thought he got the wrong guy. I was looking around and thinking, God, are you sure you got the right guy? Because I don't think I can get in front of people and speak. And so since I was 13, I've desired in my heart to be a missionary and have worked towards that. Now, Turkey exclusively, it was interesting. I was always looking later on in life when I was in college at Muslim countries, Muslim majority places, and Turkey was one I had considered but kind of set it off to the side and thought I was going to go somewhere else. And God began to work in my heart by bringing a Turkish family into Vision Baptist Church in our English classes, and through working exclusively with this Turkish family. And then my heart began to break and know the need for Turkey. And as I worked with them, God began to say, I want you to go to Turkey, and gave me peace about that's where he wanted my wife and I to go.
Amen. Well, look at there. Greg has joined us from India. Hey, Greg, we miss you, buddy. And Courtney is with us. And we'll get to Les's question here in just a second. But Brendan Wong asked, how open is Turkey to gospel preachers?
Another great question. Being a 99.8% Muslim country, you would think it's not very open, but the nice thing about Turkey is it's a republic. So there are some religious freedom laws there that are in place. And so from the workers that are there, the men I know that are working there, it's somewhat open. It's not illegal to be a Christian. It's not illegal to have a church. It's not illegal to, hand out Bibles and things like that. Now that could change. There's a lot of things changing in Turkey and their politics and things like that. But right now there's a more open door for as a Muslim country than most places.
Amen. Well, that's great. And you just visited there. How long did you spend in Turkey?
We were there a total of 5 full days, 5.5 days total. We were there about 2 months ago, back in April, 2.5 months ago. So.
And did the Lord in any way impact you in that little trip?
Oh, definitely. He reconfirmed that that's where he wanted us to go, but our hearts broke even more as we saw the people just there. And most of the people in Turkey, they're Muslim in name. That's just what they are. To be Turkish is to be Muslim is the saying. They don't really know what it means to be Muslim, but that's what they've been taught their whole life. And so they go through life believing they're Muslim, believing a lie, and they don't understand the truth of the gospel.
Well, Les Schmaltz has a tremendously good question. How did you cultivate your wife's heart to be a missionary?
Well, actually, I didn't have to do anything to do that. My wife always had a burden and interest in possibly being a missionary. She didn't know if it'd be possible, but she was praying if it was God's will, she would have the ability to marry someone who'd be a missionary. And so when I came along, I tried to run her off. When we first started talking, I told her that God had called me to be a missionary and had called me to probably go to a closed country or a difficult country, more than likely with Muslims. And I asked her at that point, I said, we are at a point where we're going to start dating. I said, if you want to become a missionary, you want to do that,
so
great.
You wanted to be single.
No, I did not want to be single, but I didn't want a lady that didn't want to be interested in missions. And she was really excited. And I was like, praise the Lord. I found someone who's interested in missions. And so she's had a heart. And interesting story, she actually had peace about Turkey before I did. When I sat down and told her, I said, I want to talk to you. And I told her that God is calling us to Turkey. She said, I already knew, because she had been working with our friend's wife, our Turkish friend's wife, and through that, God had put in her heart and given her peace about the country, and she's excited to get over there as well.
Well, fantastic, and she is a wonderful lady, and if you would like this couple, Brady's a great preacher, and also he and his wife sing beautifully, and they just have a sweet spirit, and I think that'd be a great blessing to your church, so I'd invite you to invite them into your church. They are booked, solid. How far out are you booked?
Until the middle of August next year right now.
Okay, so people say the deputation method is broken and is not working. What's your opinion of that?
I don't think that's true. I think if you work hard, you can get meetings. You can be in churches. Last night was our 180th meeting we've been in just a little over 13 months. And it is a lot of hard work, but you've got to be willing to work, to make the phone calls, to stay in contact with pastors, and just to go out. And we've loved it. We've been.
How have the churches treated you?
Almost all the churches we've been in, I don't think I've had one church that treated us poorly. They've all loved us, enjoyed us. We've all enjoyed being with those churches. You know, you've got different churches and different mindsets, but many of the churches, they enjoy having us in and enjoy allowing us to come, and we've loved being with them.
And truth is, the independent Baptist churches just have missions hearts on the whole. They're sweet. They know what you want when you call. They're having you in. Would you agree with that?
Definitely, they do. The independent Baptist movement, we want to see missions. They want to do missions, and even the pastors you call that can't have you in, you know, that you can tell they want to have you in, but they can't right now. But they always, you know, many of the pastors I've talked to say, call us down the road, or we'll be praying for you, or send us your information. We'll put you, you know, in our prayer list at least. But they do want to see the world reach with the gospel.
Amen. All right. Well, if you have a question for Brady or for me, feel free to go ahead and type that there, and we are looking at the questions, and that's why I've been looking so funny and getting up there like that, and kind of feel really dumb doing that, but hey, so we're excited about what God's doing in Brady and Sarah's life. They are just tremendous young people, and God is working greatly with them, and He is proof that the Lord will do that. Tell me how the Vision Impact Weekend and things like that have worked in your life, and explain what that is.
So I'll explain the Vision Impact Weekend. It's an event that was actually started. Brendan Wong and some people several years ago decided to do this event to have young people in to come check out the Our Generation Training Center, Vision Baptist Church, Vision Baptist Missions. And we're actually having that August 3rd through 5th here at the church. Would love to have you come by and to check out the training center, check out the church, check out the mission. But it's an amazing story. Basically, I was looking to start deputation in January of 2015. That was my plan. I was going to start, but I had no clue really what I was doing. And so the pastor I was with in Virginia, he said, well, Brady, why don't you contact some missionaries and see what you can say? And one of those missionaries happened to be Jake Tobby. And I had come through my church when I was a senior in high school. I remember him. We were friends on Facebook, so I sent him a message. And he said, hey, we're having this event called Vision Impact Weekend, and you can come meet a lot of missionaries. And my intent was I'm coming down just to meet missionaries. I didn't know what the whole event was about, but I was coming to talk to missionaries to get some advice about deputation. And I came down, and when I came down, I realized that I didn't have the proper training. I didn't have what I needed to even start deputation. I didn't even know what to do. But that the Our Generation Training Center, Vision Baptist Missions, Vision Baptist Church, they had men and women who would sit and work with you and help you understand what the deputation process is. They'd help you understand how to start churches and do work in missions. And so I said, okay, you know, God worked in my heart, and I surrendered and said, okay, God, we'll come down here, we'll work and be in the church for a year, and then try to start deputation after that. And that's what happened.
Amen. All right, now tell me about the Turkish language. What have you learned about what's going to be required of you in language learning?
Well, the Turkish language is a harder language.
Does it use the English Latin alphabet?
It does use the Latin alphabet, so that is very helpful when learning how to read. We can kind of, I guess, read some of the signs. We wouldn't pronounce them correctly because they only use like 24 of the letters, and there's 32 different sounds, so they have different symbols and things like that with their letters. But it's one of those things. It's a level, I guess, 3 language. If you're going to 1 through 4, it's a level 3. Not as hard as Arabic or Chinese, but it is a little bit harder. It's a more modern language, actually. 1923, when Turkey switched over to the Turkish language, and it's been evolving since. So there's newer words and things like that have been changing. I mean, we're going to have to go and spend time in language school. And, you know, if you put the hours in, you can learn the language. Definitely within at least a year, we should be able to be at least communicating fairly well, but we'll spend a lot of time working on that. I've been looking at language schools over there. I've been talking to some men that have been through language schools and some of the things that it takes. And we were just over there and met with a missionary who had been in language school about 6 months, and he was doing a fantastic job with the language. And we know that we can learn a language. We're just going to have to, just like with deputation, work hard and practice it and spend time on it.
So are you going to have to be kind of under the radar and like the guys say in North Africa, or will you be able to be a little more open?
I think we could be a little more open. Like I said, with churches, we're allowed to have, you can even have church signs and things like that. You can be legally recognized by the government through different ways. You can go out and you can, you know, hand things out, or you get yourself a booth at a fair or any kind of festival or anything like that. They would let you set up there as long as you have that booth, and people would come to you and you could hand out scriptures. So it's not as much of a radar. I mean, we obviously can't go into the country as a missionary, but there are ways to go in as like a tourist. But we can go in there and work and preach the gospel, and that would be what our plan is.
Well, we were joined by a lot of the students and people that here at the church, and some preachers I know, but one just joined. It's a hero of the faith, Carl Braswell. Carl Braswell is older than I am, but he started churches and just did a lot of tremendous work here. I've always highly respected him and loved him, and so glad he's here with us. Also see Justin Gazaway, what a tremendous man of God. So now, Les wants to know, what is your sending missions agency?
That would be Vision Baptist Missions, the Vision Baptist Church here in Alpharetta, Georgia.
So Vision Baptist Missions, and how do you get hooked up with Vision? There's a high school buddy I went to high school with, Billy Hooper, all the way back. We graduated in 1972, and he just joined in here. So Vision Baptist Missions, how does somebody get associated with Vision Baptist Missions?
Well, we have lots of events you could definitely come to. You can come down and visit us for a weekend. We have services on Thursday evening, and almost every Friday we have a class you can sit in on its missions. You can go to visionmissions.com and find out more about the mission board. But there are plenty of events. We've got Vision Impact Weekend. We have a summit at the end of the year. I believe it's the 28th, 29th, and 30th of December this year. You can come and learn more about our mission board and missions agency and our missionaries. But I love Vision Baptist Missions. They've been a blessing in my life and a big help. They've helped us. It's a family, and we love each other. We take care of each other. We help each other, and it's always, we'll sit around and we'll talk, and we'll talk about things and how to do things better, how to follow up, different things like that. And that's what I really enjoy, is being able to sit and communicate with one another and help us grow.
Wayne Cook says, 1972, the year I graduated, that's the year he was born. Oh my goodness, Wayne Cook. By the way, something very exciting on the horizon that's going on with us. Glad you're with us, Ronald Tobias. One of the things that's exciting is we are right now in the process of working out to have a summit in Boston, Massachusetts, in that area between semesters, in the fall semester and the so winter break, we would have that meeting, and so that would be just great to see you up there in Boston. Now, more news will come out about that. Billy Hooper, greetings, Austin, just checking in to see what you got going on. Thank you, Billy. Look forward to seeing you again. I wish you guys would organize a high school reunion. I've never been to one, so I'd love to come back and see you guys. That would be wonderful if you could work that. You guys could work that out up there in good old McEwen, Tennessee. Think about McEwen all the time and love McEwen, so I'd love to meet and see you guys again. All right, you are also planning a meeting, I think, out in, was it Arkansas?
Yes, sir.
Why don't you tell them about that?
Yes, sir. We've started these events called World Evangelism Conferences, and we've got one coming up September 30th in Arkansas, in Pine Bluff, Arkansas, at Commerce Road Baptist Church. Pastor Dustin Brown, a great friend of mine, and we're going to be out there for a Saturday, and we're going to be there probably from 9 to 4, and we're going to be talking about world evangelism, how young people, how college-age people, even how older people can get involved in world evangelism, what they can do, and preaching on missions and things like that. And we would love to see you if you're out in the Arkansas area, in Texas, and Louisiana, Alabama, certain parts of Tennessee. We'd love to see you come on out to that. And you can actually go. There's a World Evangelism Conference Facebook page. You go to World Evangelism Conference by Vision Baptist Missions, and you can see the events there. It's been posted by many of us that are at Vision, and we'll actually have the event linked into Vision Missions Facebook page as well.
Okay, so a young person's listening and thinking, man, I might even like to be a missionary to Turkey. I like the idea. I feel like God might be working in my life, but I don't know how. I'm in high school, I'm even in college, and I don't know what I would do to do that. So could you help them know how they would be able to be helped?
Definitely. I would start, it starts with your basic life personally, personal life. Reading your Bible, being involved in your church, things along those lines. You can start that. That's simple right there. But I would tell you, if you're in high school or you're in college, I would tell you to come on down to one of our events. Vision Impact Weekend would be a great one for you to come to. Get you a chance to meet many missionaries, meet people that are training, that were in your place, that were high schoolers, that are college-age students who are down here. They're training, and within a few years they'll be on deputation. In a few more years they'll be on the mission field. That's one thing, and you got to get training. And I think one of the best places to get training is the Our Generation Training Center. They put out great products that they help you, and they help you to grow, and they allow you to get involved in ministry. And then they also help you by getting prepared for you when you start deputation, and then when you get to the mission field.
All right, I think that ought to be something for you. We will help you from the day you know that the Lord wants you in. You can actually there's a web page. Go to Facebook and search for Our Generation OGTC Prep, or just find Robert Canfield, become his friend, or right here tell me you're interested, and we'll get you signed up. We'll get you signed up to be getting started in learning how to become the missionary, the person that you feel like the Lord would have you to become. We have William Steve Montgomery. Hey, Brother Gardner, we supported you when I pastored Victory Baptist Church in Hateville, Georgia in the mid-'80s. Praise the Lord for your work. Well, thank you, Brother Montgomery. I'm telling you, God has been good and given us great friends and great people that have helped us, and thank you so much, and thank you, Victory Baptist Church in Hateville, Georgia. We're here now at Vision Baptist Church and excited about what God's doing, and actually the future is brighter right now than ever. We're looking to do more than we've ever done before. We're trying to plant churches here in America, all around the world, and we just got a ton of things going on. I'd like to invite everybody to come and be a part of that. Well, Brady, tell me something else that you might like to share about Turkey, about your ministry, or any of that.
Well, I noticed two questions I think that Brandon sent in, and I can answer those. One, he asked about a city. We haven't 100% picked a city, but we're really praying about the city of Izmir. And if you know anything about Izmir, it's actually the Bible city of Smyrna. So one of the 7 churches of Revelation, that's one of those.
That'd be pretty exciting, wouldn't it?
So it's a very fast-growing city there. We're excited to get over there. And then I believe his other question was what is the plan to reach Turkey? And the simple plan is this: learn the language, boldly evangelize, disciple. But really, the real heart is to train men. We're praying now. I've been praying now for God to raise up men that will be pastors. We could train those men and send them planting churches all over the country of Turkey. And I dream big. I dream of the day that we see Turkey reach with the gospel, and there's churches planted in every single city, and those churches are training more men and sending them not only to Turkey, but all around the world preaching the gospel.
Amen. Thank you for every one of you that have been sharing the page and liking the page. And I apologize. Things got really busy this summer. Jeff Bush and I are usually doing the Leadership with Vision podcast, and we've gotten behind. But I'm going to be working at getting us caught back up. Things have just been really hectic. We moved into the new building here at the church, and that's been great. But I travel quite a bit, and so that keeps me busy and keeps us all running around. And so I'm getting back to work, doing more of what I ought to do. On Sunday afternoon, I leave to go to Nepal, and we'll meet with our missionaries from China and Nepal and India, and I'm not sure what other countries may be coming in. Japan, several of our people are coming in to be in that. It's going to be an exciting time. And then we get to see the work that Paul Talby's doing. He's a vision missionary there in the city of Kathmandu. And so that'll be an exciting thing to be there with him. If you happen to be a Vision Baptist Church person, or if you happen to just be one of our friends, I'm taking 2 trips. I'd like to invite you to go with me. In September, I'll be going to London. We'll be helping Travis Snow to organize his church there. He started a church. We helped organize that in Northern Ireland, now in London. And then also we are going from there to, in October, we'll go to Peru. And you could see the work that the Lord did in Arequipa while we were there. And we'd love to have you go and be a part of that too. Well, I'm about wrapping it up. You got any further things you'd like to say there, Brady?
Not really. We just ask you to pray for the country of Turkey. It's somewhat of an open country. There's a need for people to go there. Only about 5,000 in the entire country of Turkey would claim to be a true Christian. That's a percentage of 0.00006% of the population there that claim to be a true born-again Christian. There's a great need for people to go and take the gospel. I'd ask you to pray for the country of Turkey. Pray for us that God can help us get our support raised. Would love to interact with you. You can send us an email at brady@truthtoturkey.com or visit our website, truthtoturkey.com as well, and we'd love to talk with you more if you have any questions. We've got some blog articles on our website of how you can steps to becoming a missionary if you're a young person interested in missions. We'd love to talk to you and love to see you down at Vision Impact Weekend in just a few short weeks.
And as the pastor of Vision Baptist Church and Brady's pastor, I give my 100% approval, and I'm excited about this man and his ministry and how God has used him. And you know, he is the guy to get in touch with. Hardworking, disciplined, full of vision, full of desire, got a great wife, a great family, and I am very excited that I get to have part in his ministry, and so I invite you to have part in his ministry also. All of you pastors and individuals that might want to support a missionary, and you can do that by sending that through visionmissions.com. You can find his name there and get all the information you want about him. So thank you very much for listening. Pray for Brady, pray for his ministry, pray for the country of Turkey, and pray for the gospel getting all around the world. Thank you so much to every one of you that came in with us today. Spread the word, share the video. God bless every one of you.